Hey, out there, internet world, it's your bearded brothers back again with yet another sports podcast. My name is Matt.
No.
That's my brother Chris, who apparently is upset today.
Always upset.
Yeah, he's kind of always cranky. You'll get used to him. And we are here to talk about Week 10. Week 10 in the NFL. There's a couple of stories to talk about first. I suppose the one that we're going to talk about is the one Chris and I were just talking about, which is the NFL and its owners have filed a grievance against the union, saying that the report cards they do every season are a breach of the CBA. The actual language, if you read the contract on it, is pretty broad, and I would just look at that and say that it's probably unenforceable because it's too broad. The NFLPA has already filed its counterclaim on that and its response to the grievance, and they have stated they intend to fight it, and they're going ahead with this year's survey anyway. Basically, it's telling the NFL that they can kiss their backsides. Let's see here. What other fun news is there out there? Oh, I told Chris about this, but I don't know if he's had time to formulate a response about it. This week, due to Jackson Dart being in concussion protocol, Jameis Winston will be starting for the New York Giants. And that's probably come about because of another thing we'll talk about in a minute, which I'm sure Chris will rant about. And when giving a press conference about all of this and talking to the reporters, Jameis Winston broke out into song from Hamilton.
I don't watch it. I've never listened to it. And I don't care about it.
I know, but I'm just saying, you can't say that at least Winston isn't entertaining. That's why I think both you and I like him, because he's entertaining. You never know if he's going to throw 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and 250 yards, or throw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, or throw for 75 and 4 picks. You never know. He's always doing something, and it's always fun to watch. So at the very least, New York, you will be entertained. I don't know if you'll win, but you'll be entertained. On that same notion, the second coach of the season has been released. Apparently Joe Shane and John Mara, walked up to Daboll and said, "Get the out of here!" and gave him his walk-in papers. So Brian Daboll is no longer coaching the New York Giants. They have instead elevated the offensive coordinator for the rest of the season, and now there is a big kerfluffle over who is going to be the Giants' next head coach, because John Mara, who owns the team, does have connections to several high-profile coaches and several other individuals within other organizations. It's been suggested that he might find a hot college coach. The dude from Notre Dame has been suggested.
Weird way to word that, by the way.
Sorry, I meant hot as in, like, the next big thing.
I just was immediately imagining just out of nowhere, just some hot blonde coming out.
I was going to say, please don't tell me that you were like...
a woman, doesn't really matter.
Please don't tell me you were imagining, like, Bill Belichick in a bikini.
Oh, no, I wasn't thinking that, but I was thinking his girlfriend. Whoever the fuck it is at this point.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Secretly, he's got an earpiece in her ear, so it's actually Bill Belichick as her.
But, no, so I think his name is James Franklin or something, and he coaches Notre Dame. That's been suggested. Lane Kiffin has been brought up due to the Jackson Dart
He's-
connection.
I was gonna say his name's been brought up a couple times actually over the
I
last couple
don't,
of years.
yeah, and I don't know if that's a personality fit that works.
Yeah, I mean we've seen that so many times at this point. There are just some college coaches that just do not transition.
No,
They just
do
don't.
not.
Like let's be honest, if you would have ever put Nick Saban into pro, I don't think it would have ever worked.
He tried.
I meant in his older years after.
Oh, yeah.
the first failed. If he would have tried again, I don't think it would have worked.
No,
Obviously, as we
not.
know, Urban Meyer didn't work, and I don't think that would have ever worked out.
No.
So
Some college coaches just do not know how to make the transition, and they don't do very well. But
yeah.
That's one that people think of because apparently there's a large Notre Dame connection within the Giants structure. Lane Kiffin has been brought up because of his proximity to Jackson Dart, and because of his.
I think a coordinator makes more sense going with a current coordinator, but that's just me.
And due to his personal relationship and friendship with the owner, Bill Belichick has been brought up.
That I don't think is going to happen because he signed that pretty much, what was it, a 4 or 5 year thing with UNC, so buying him out is going to be pretty expensive.
But if John Mara really wants him...
I just don't think Bill really wants to go back to pro. I think he's chilling in college, and
I agree, but
the team's
he's
not even great.
again,
He just doesn't. He's just kind of like.
He has a personal friendship with John Mara, and so that could be pulled on.
I think more likely what would happen at that point, weirdly enough, this would be a really weird thing, but it could totally be possible. Remember, Bill's son is working for him.
Maybe
why not take a shot at his son?
You could. I've also heard pro side from the coordinators. I've heard Clint Kubiak.
Yeah, Kubiak.
I've heard Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
And I was like, we tried that once. It didn't go well.
I think he's a better offensive coordinator than he is.
Mike McCarthy has come up.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad coach. He's just not the best coach.
No, and I agree. I absolutely agree. So, but those are some names that I have heard tossed about a little bit as potential New York Giants head coaches.
I've heard the Rams coordinators are always being looked at.
Coordinators are always being looked at. Yeah, all of those are things that I'm looking at going, maybe you could see some of this.
And I know this is going to sound weird, but just saying, if Brian Flores wanted to become a head coach again,
yeah,
picking a team that's already got an offense that's pretty much ready to go,
you
don't have to do much to it, and just pick a good offensive coordinator.
Not the dumbest thing that you could ever do.
It would not be bad to go because even that defense isn't really that bad. There's some work you can do to it.
There is some work. Yeah,
that team way better.
I think they've got kind of the front part. The front seven is really.
They just need to work on their.
Is really solid.
Back,
I think you need to work on their secondary. But the way that you run blitzes, I think that God. Could you imagine Abdul Carter in that kind of a system where he can just
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
freelance?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh God. I don't even want to think of that would be oh.
So that would be not even a bad option, but I just think probably prying Brian Flores away might be kind of hard.
It might be.
It seems like he enjoys where he's at.
Yeah, I think he likes being in Minnesota. So but yeah, those are some things.
I don't know if he wants to be a head coach.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever wants it again. He did it once, and I don't think he liked it.
No, I think, isn't that suit still ongoing, or did that finish?
I think that finished.
Okay. Because there was also that, which might also, might be like a spit match for the owners.
Gary Kubiak's kid, Clint, is always, that's one that comes up.
I get it, but I don't like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm saying that, some of those are people that are being looked at. The Rams coordinators are always being looked at. So
I get it.
Yep. But that's the current talk. I still agree with you and don't think they should have gotten rid of Dable, but I get where they came from. The dude is 20-40 and 1.
Yeah, I get it, but you look at the team they gave him, and then you're like, and then on top of that Daniel Jones contract, everyone and their mother knew that was a terrible contract, and then you saddled that shit with Dable.
And then you had to get rid of Saquon because of it?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna put all of that on Dable. Like they used him as literally a patsy. Like that's
I think
straight
that's
up what
what,
this firing is.
personally, I think Joe Shane should have been the one to go.
I honestly, if you're gonna do one, you might as well do the other.
And I would not be surprised if he gets canned at the end of the season.
The fact that they haven't yet is shocking, to be honest.
It is a bit, because I would want to bring in or start interviewing new GMs right away, because I want them to have a chance to look at the upcoming draft and figure out who we want.
Exactly.
Obviously, you don't need a quarterback. Obviously, you don't need a running back. You really don't need a... Well, you could use a second wide receiver, but you're not doing terrible there either. You could use...
Even without Neighbors, they're actually doing okay with what they have. So
their line isn't...
Their line is the one I would be like, that's probably a focus.
They've got one piece there in Andrew Thomas that I think is your franchise, but you could use another tackle out there, or a center, or a guard, or something.
What are you screaming about? Jeez, he's being loud today.
But yeah, that's what I would look at if I were them. Just, I don't know, and I would want to get the new GM in there as quickly as possible, so that he can find the coach that he wants. Whoever you put in there, you want them to be able to be simpatico and work together. If you can't do that, then there's no point.
Right.
So, outside that, do we have injury news? I don't think there were any major injuries.
I can't remember if there was any
big ones.
I mean, there might have been, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. However, I do know... Hey! That's not the type of screaming that we allowed to hear. I was going to say, I know that Joe Burrow has been taken off of IR and is being potentially cleared to play.
He has begun practicing again with the team. And we have opened the 21-day window on Ryan Kelly, who is going to wear a new type of helmet and a Guardian cap.
Shocker.
Huh?
That's funny. I said shocker.
Yeah, you get that many concussions in that short a period of time.
I'll cover you back up if you keep it up, dude. God, I don't know what's up his ass today. But
anyways, so we may actually get Ryan Kelly back soon, and that would complete our line.
Yeah,
which would be nice.
I don't know if it would. I don't know how much it's going to help with the way we're playing, but you know, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that when we get to that, because I watched that game and I was not happy.
There was a lot of things about that game I wasn't happy about. I don't know how in-depth I'm really going to go at this point, because I've already done it once, but goddamn, man.
Well, yeah, we know about those guys in stripes.
The zebras.
The zebras.
That's where they have as much intelligence as fucking one.
But I'm also not... I got some bones to pick.
I got a couple of bones to pick with certain things.
We'll get there. Let's get started on that. Games. Here is our wonderful screen. It'll probably be up, I don't know, 5 minutes for each one, 8 minutes for each one, somewhere around there. You'll get 2 screens with scores on them. About 16 minutes worth of stuff, probably. Let's talk first. One of the most boring games of the week, but somehow not the most boring game of the week.
Oh, boy. We thought it might be until Monday night happened.
Thursday night happened first, and then Monday happened, and we went, Jesus, give us Thursday back.
Well, the funny thing is, pretty much it was almost the same game.
It basically was. Raiders at Broncos. Dear Lord. The Broncos are, in my opinion, literally the definition of playing to the level of your opponent.
Yet they keep winning. At this point, I just don't even... You know, if they keep winning, they keep winning. It's hard to be mad, but if I was a Broncos fan, I probably would be because I'd be like, can we just decisively win a game, please?
I mean, you could have turned the game off at the start of the fourth quarter and wouldn't have missed anything.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the Steelers opened up the scoring with a good rush from Genty and then did nothing the rest of the game.
Nothing.
Not the
Quite
Steelers, the
literally
Raiders.
nothing.
They
Raiders,
quite
yeah.
literally did nothing the rest of the game, and they got Geno Smith hurt.
Loki, enough. Enough. That's enough.
And they got Geno Smith hurt, had Pickett in for one pass, and brought
Exactly
Geno
right.
back in.
They went, nope, we don't need Pickett out there. Get that fucker
Nope,
back
nope.
in here. We
Fuck
don't want
that.
that. Nope.
Funnily enough, odds makers are making odds on where Kyler Murray's going to wind up next year, and the Raiders do lead that pack.
I mean, like I pointed out last week, it oddly makes sense for that organization with the way they.
It does
things.
because they like to run the quarterback around a lot.
Well, they just like speed in general.
Yeah,
They've
they
always liked speed.
Yeah, that's an Al Davis holdover.
It is. That's what I'm saying. And it's still there because, well, his son's running it. So, I mean, obviously, right?
And then in the second quarter, Nix hits Franklin. But, I mean, overall, good Lord, was this game. Look, we punt. We punt. We punt. We punt. We throw an interception. We punt. That was this game.
Monday wasn't any better, dude.
No, I'm well aware it was not any better.
No, I'm informing everyone else. It's just Monday's not going to get better.
This was bad.
Yeah.
And I think we can end that there.
Yeah, I literally have nothing to say about the game. I think I actually legit watched the first several drives, turned it off, turned it back on the fourth quarter, and went, wow. Like, legitimately, and then I turned it back off and then just started watching it and didn't even start watching. I just watched the drives on my phone as it ended because that was more entertaining than actually watching the game.
Now let's talk about purple on purple violence here.
I mean, to be fair, they were wearing mostly white with a little bit of purple, but, you know.
Baltimore at Minnesota. I think my first bone to pick, and I know he's basically a rookie, but this is a game again where I looked at McCarthy and I went, where the fuck are you throwing that?
There was a couple of those. Honestly, there was only like 2 or 3 of those, in my opinion, that were like really bad or more like the one where JJ tripped. I'm like, I can understand why you threw it up to him, but I don't think he still would have came down with that.
No, but then you probably don't throw the interception. So I understand that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
JJ on the outside, he's got a pretty good contested catch rate. I get it.
Yeah,
I also, though, but the other interception he had where he stepped up in the pocket to escape a rush, and then there was nothing but green in front of him, and instead he throws a lob downfield and gets picked off, and you just go, where are you throwing? Why aren't you running that? What are you doing?
Well, that's more than likely. In that case, I don't know if I know the one you're talking about. I don't think he would have made the first down run, to be honest with you. But that being said, it was obviously one of those, we don't want you taking hits as much. So if you see something, because if you actually watch it, there was somebody he thought was going to be down there, but that person had kind of did a weird stutter stop because he wasn't sure what JJ was doing. And it was very clearly, again, a miscommunication between quarterback and receiver.
I think... yeah, but if I look at his stats, 20 of 42. He was not even 50%.
No, I know. Well, yeah, I know what you mean. It's, what is it, like 46, 47, whatever it is. I forget.
Like 48 something, yeah.
But here's the thing. If you actually looked at some of those passes, you got to remember a good couple of those were just straight up dropped that I saw, just straight up hit in the hands dropped.
There were a couple of those.
So I think in reality he was probably closer to 50%, which still not great. But if you look at the other quarterbacks that are on our list for 50 percenters, that's not a it's not a bad company to be in, surprisingly enough. Um, I think my biggest problem actually is, and maybe you're going to disagree with this, outside of the refs. I mean, we'll get to that when we get to it, but I think the play calling has been shit.
I would not disagree. I would say the first
The first
quarter,
drive was good. Yeah, even
the first drive,
was okay.
not bad. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good set of play calling. And this is what I mean by like, I don't know if they're overwhelming him with the wrong play calling and trying to ask too much of him.
If you actually look at the playbook based upon how Sam Darnold used it versus how JJ's McCarthy's using it, it's actually the opposite. They're actually not giving him the full playbook to use. And I think that's actually a problem. Because if you actually look at how often Darnold did a drop back play action passes, it was very high. And JJ has, I think last game, I think they only had him do it like 3 or 4 times, which is ridiculous for the percentages based upon our last year's. And that playbook is designed in a way for those play actions to work. And they're not using them. So
I agree.
you're taking out pretty much your highest chunk plays and going, we're not going to use those. And my concern is, are you doing that because you don't trust JJ? Or are you doing that because, like, again, it's just one of those things. Why? Why are you doing that?
I agree. If you don't trust
are you trying
JJ
to give
to
him
do,
comfort? It feels like they're trying to overprotect him, but by over trying to protect him, I think they're making bigger mistakes.
and I was going to say, and if you don't trust him to do those plays, then why the fuck is he your starter?
Yeah, why didn't you put more money into Daniel Jones or into and because the only reason neither one of them stuck around is because both of them were blatantly told that they would not be the starter. If you actually said, "Hey, it's gonna be a competition. We don't know which one we're gonna pick," one of them might have stuck around. So, and both of them are excelling on the teams they're on.
Exactly.
Um, it's hard not to look at this and go, you guys have to open the floodgates at some point. I get that he's basically a rookie, but I think based upon what we know, he spent a lot of last year in the training,
Uh-oh.
the playbook. I it's just being a little laggy. We're good. Um, going through the processes of being in the training room, going through the playbook, knowing the play calls. Let him do it. Stop holding him back. I think that's legitimately part of the problem is they're not letting him do what he can do.
I agree, and I will also point out and state that when J.J. McCarthy is your leading rusher, you got a problem.
That's also a problem, yes. And I don't even think Jones or from the 49ers, what's his name?
Yeah.
Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either one of them are bad. It's just for whatever reason, neither one of them could really get anything going, which does inhibit the play action. I understand that, but even then, if you looked at last year when we had bad rushing and they were still able to make play actions work, it just feels like the play calling this year has been woefully inept in comparison to last year.
I would agree.
So
something ain't right there.
Yeah. And at some point you have to look at it for what it is. Are they holding him back, or on purpose to try because they think they're protecting him, or are they holding him back because they don't think he can do it? And if it's the latter, that's a big problem. You should have probably solved in the offseason.
If it's the former, then you need to stop protecting the boy and pop your tit out of his mouth.
Yeah, let him do his thing, man. Let him do his thing. Let him sit under center and let him figure it out. I understand there's gonna be growing pains if you do that, but no matter what you do, there's gonna be growing pains, and the way you're doing it now isn't exactly working.
Moving along, Falcons at Colts in Berlin. This game was closer than it should have been, but again, we're never sure what Falcons team is going to show the fuck up.
I I'm at a point where I'm at a loss with the Falcons because I'm kind of sick of them being good and being bad at the same time. I'm really sick of it.
They are good, and they also suck, but they're also good.
But then they also suck. I just like
They're
this.
only 3-6, but like if you look at some of the games they've won, you go, yeah, but yeah.
I just don't
But
get
you
it,
look at
man.
some of their losses and you go, oh.
Yeah, I don't get it. I I don't understand. I'm kind of frustrated with the team because they seem like they almost have everything on paper, and then they'll have like a major collapse mid-game and just fuck it all up.
And in this one, they battled the entire game. And I think what eventually killed them was just Jonathan Taylor was like, nope, we're not losing.
There was part of that, and then there was other things. I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting tired of the Falcons. I'd like them to figure out whatever they're doing in the middle of rounds, or the middle, I shouldn't say middle of rounds, the middle of games that is just fucking them up. They got to figure that out.
Yep.
Like there's just something, because they always start pretty well and then they tend to end well, but it's that middle section where they lose the plot.
And I will say that they had Jonathan Taylor got loose for an 83-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor again showed up, put up well over 100. I think he was over 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns and went, "Okay, I'm done for the day. Have a nice day."
He had almost 50 fantasy points. So
Yeah.
he did his thing.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor did his thing again. The week after I put him in the jars and said, "You need to be better," he went, "Okay, let me show you better."
Whoa, hold on. That was an off game, sir.
That
Don't
was
do
an off
to a
game, sir.
kid.
Let me show you, sir.
Yeah. I'm allowed to have rest weeks. Screw you.
Yeah, that's what the bye is for.
Yeah, but with that many games, I feel like almost 2 buys isn't almost necessary
Yeah.
now. It feels
Anyway, moving along, Browns versus Jets. Jets win another one
barely.
by a touchdown.
That's what I said, barely. But they did do it.
They did. Not quite sure how they pulled that one off, considering they had an entire 54 yards of passing offense.
Yeah.
And only 83 yards of rushing offense.
Also, yeah.
Literally, you can chalk this one up to the Jets special team.
Yeah,
Which,
more or less.
Kene Wanwu, whom we're well acquainted with. Yay, Kene! And Isaiah Williams, who chortled off a 74-yard punt return after Wanwu's 99-yard kickoff return. Yeah. Look, don't expect the Jets to do this all the time, but it was funny to watch. I think the only team they could have done this on is the team they just beat, which is the Cleveland Browns. Alrighty, moving along. Jags and Texans. Jags, what in the fuck? You have a 19-point lead going into the fourth quarter and allow your opponent to reel off 26 unanswered points. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Unanswered in the fourth. It's like between the third quarter and the fourth quarter, Davis Mills became General Mills and ate a giant bowl of fucking Wheaties.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what happened.
I don't get this at all. Good job, Texans? I don't know if I should congratulate the Houston Texans or if I should just slap the shit out of the Jaguars.
I mean, I feel like if you look at the stats for the Jaguars, I think you can answer that question.
Probably. They just gave up. They rolled over in the fourth quarter and went, Kitty wants their belly rubbed.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely just the fourth quarter. Honestly, it was more of both teams slap fighting, and then at the end, Texans went, okay, we're gonna actually use our fists now.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened. Speaking of another team that I'm probably going to slap across the face, Buffalo. Buffalo, what the fuck?
The funny thing is, if you look at their stats, they're not horrendous. It's just you look at it and go, how?
They literally let fucking Waddle and Devon A-Chain murder them.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's literally what it turned into. 174 yards from A-Chain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they also did not have a sack.
No.
Which hurts. If I had to be honest, that might be what killed them.
Because I was going to say, if you look at their offensive stats, they're not actually that bad, but that defense was...
Yeah, your defense was atrocious. Whatever that was, don't do that again.
Yeah, those are the types of games where people go, do we need to fire Sean McDermott?
Yeah. Does he need to fire his defensive coordinator, maybe?
I don't know.
Something
Start
like
wondering
that.
after a while why you can't get a team that's supposed to be that good over that hump, and starts making you wonder if maybe it's time for a coaching change.
Very true. Moving down the list, Patriots and Bucks. We predicted this was going to be a good game, and damn, was it a good game.
Patriots.
This was the Travion Henderson coming out party.
Yeah, I mean, apparently from everything I've read, though, he's still technically not going to be the starter. Apparently,
despite the fact he ran for 147 yards and 2 tutties.
Yep. From my understanding, what I've read is that what's his name? The other guy that was injured. Stevenson.
Yeah.
He's still technically Ramondre Stevenson is still technically the starter when he gets off injury. Which supposedly it could happen this week. We'll see. But yeah, apparently it'll be more likely, from what I've heard, to be more like a dual back system in actuality. So it won't be really like one significantly over the other.
Baker did what he could to get them over that hump, but he threw for 273 yards and 2 tutties, or 3 tutties. One of them to Amika Abuka, of course. And the other one to, if I remember my stats on
Tez Johnson.
Right, was it Tez again?
It was Tez again.
Yeah, Tez Johnson. He got 2 of them this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I picked him up off waiver wires when I did, and I'm pissed off I didn't start him this week.
He's been slowly getting better each game he plays.
Yeah, and I think there's a connection between him and Baker, because he plays like people that Baker played with in college, that Baker knows their routes and knows how they like to catch the ball. So, I think that's a big deal. Did you freeze?
Freeze.
You froze.
I think you froze.
No, you froze.
Mine was moving just fine for a second, so I don't know what that was.
Not on my end.
Yeah, I was completely fine on mine, and you were kind of...
Anyway, as I was saying,
anyways, but I was gonna say Tez more likely actually plays like pretty much the rest of the Bucks receivers, if we're being honest. Like,
well, yeah, but he's small and he's fast, and the way that he runs routes reminds you probably of
if
Hollywood.
You look at him, he's kind
Hollywood
of similar
Brown.
to like. I was gonna say, I mean, even if you look at even the other guys like Chris Godwin and Antonio, not Antonio Brown, but you know who I mean.
Yep.
He's just a little shorter, but outside of that, he does the same kind of skill sets they do.
But you remember, Baker likes those shorter, fast receivers.
I mean, he just likes people who can just run down the field and get open. It doesn't matter if they're short or not. And that's what Tez is. He just happens to be able to be really fast and get open very quick.
Yeah, he happens to be able to find ways to get open really well, which I think
he likes the agile, fast receivers is probably the best way to put it.
Yes.
He's not gonna. He doesn't like the 50-50 ballers. He wants the guy who's gonna be probably mostly open for the most part. or at least get a step. If you give
Moving
a guy a step
along,
or
the
something.
Giants lose a heartbreaker. A game they led over the Bears, and
Yeah.
again just kind of had a fourth quarter collapse.
Well, that happens when your quarterback gets concussed halfway through the game.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of what happened. Dart had that big 24-yard touchdown rush, and then yeah,
yeah, he ended up getting concussed. They took him off the field, and they put in Russell as the backup. And I'm just gonna be blunt. If Jackson Dart wasn't concussed, I think they win that game. Actually, I think legitimately the Giants can win that game.
I agree.
Russell looked like hot garbage.
Which is why I think they're going to go with Winston this week.
Yeah, he looked awful.
Russell looked terrible. I mean, even with Dart being concussed and being out, he still threw for 240 yards.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they
he
win
looked
that game.
great despite everything else. Like that's the one thing I'll give Jackson Dart the biggest credit for is in spite of a bad team he's on, he is still making himself look like the fucking superstar of that team.
Yes, I agree with that firmly. So
The amount of
Dart,
times I've seen him like look like he's about to throw and then takes it himself to run it and just goes, fuck it. I can't trust because there were several times he threw the passes and they literally bounced out of people's hands and he went, fuck it, I'll run it myself if you fuckers can't catch the ball.
I can't wait to see him and Neighbors fucking start hooking up for
Neighbors
shit.
get Scatawoo back. Like that's gonna be I think that's gonna be an offense that's lightning in a bottle, which is also why I think despite the fact that Dable's gone, and I don't think he should be, I think that that's probably going to be one of the most sought after head coaching jobs.
I agree.
Actually, because of the
100%
fact
agree.
that team is like even the defense isn't exactly bad. Like they're built almost ready to go.
I agree again.
Yep.
But yeah, they do lose, unfortunately, to the Bears, who win again. The Saints, however, at the Panthers, do beat the Panthers, and Tyler Shugg looked pretty good.
Granted, it's the Panthers. We have to asterisk this.
You have to asterisk it.
They're not exactly a great team.
No.
They have their ups and downs. They sometimes look good and sometimes look kind of bad. And this is one of those times I'd argue they looked kind of rough. But there was a lot of throws that I saw Shook throw that I went, that's a high level throw.
Yeah.
That's a high level caliber throw. So I'm impressed. We'll see what happens when he starts getting chased down by better defenses. But even then, there was a lot of times he was avoiding getting sacked by Carolina, and then all of a sudden he'd just get a random throw out of nowhere and get a bomb down the field. So, I mean, if he can continue escaping sacks and bombing down the field, I think he's got a potential. I think he's got a lot of success potentially. I don't think he can move as well, and I think that's my biggest concern. But he moves well in the pocket, so he doesn't necessarily have to take off for runs like Jackson Dart does. So we'll see long term how well that works, but I think he's looking good for now.
I would agree with that. Moving elsewhere, we get the Cardinals visiting Seattle. Seattle just laid it on them. Yeah, that was
pretty much
44-22.
Yeah. It's funny because if you look at Darnold's stats, they look mediocre as fuck, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Why is he? We'll get to it. Seattle's defense played mean.
Seattle's defense was just trying to hurt people out there, man.
Yeah, they were mean.
Brissett was 22 of 44. Threw 2 touchdowns. McBride was the leading receiver, but holy crap. Knight sacked him twice. Amon Wari had 9 tackles. That dude was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we knew coming out of college, we had him as one of our top safeties, and we were like, yeah, that's a dude.
Yep.
That's a linebacker to safety body. And that's what he's kind of proven to be. But yeah, if you look at it, you look at the stats on offense for them, and you go, huh? But then you go back and you look, the first half, they didn't let the Cardinals score. The
No,
Cardinals finally got one right before halftime.
Yep.
To which the Seahawks took as a personal challenge and said, "Oh, okay," and then kicked the field goal before half.
Pretty much. They went, "Oh wait, you're actually gonna show up and play football? My bad. Hold on. Hold my bear."
Yeah, it was all Seahawks to open the game, and
Yeah.
the reason why Darnold's stats don't look great is because when you go up 35-0 in the second quarter,
I was gonna say
you
he didn't
start
really have
running
to
the
do
ball.
much.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he didn't really have to do much.
he didn't. He threw that opening 43-yard pass to JSN and was like, "Oh, it's going to be that kind of a game."
Yep, pretty much.
And the Cowboys currently missing DeMarcus Lawrence, who returned a 34-yard fumble.
Yep.
Oh, Lawrence had 2 of them in this game.
He did.
Yeah. Just mean, man. So yeah, Seahawks Rams I think is this week, and that's gonna be a fun game.
That's gonna be a real test for the Seahawks, though. Are they ready? Because the Rams are not gonna be an easy team.
No, they are not. That's really gonna be a test of Darnold and everybody else on that team.
Yep. That'll be the big true test for them.
Moving along. Lions at Commanders. Lions spanked the Commanders by the same score. 44-22.
Not really shocking, though. I mean,
No. I mean, without Jaden Daniels.
Without Jaden Daniels,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Mariota is not a bad player. He's just not the same caliber of Jaden Daniels.
He is not, unfortunately. So the Lions...
He's a good alternative on occasions, but that's about it.
Yeah, the Lions crushed them. It was not even close.
No, not really.
But we didn't expect anything else. Lions are trying to hold on to their lead in the NFC North because the Bears are right there.
I was going to say the Bears are technically right there.
The fuck?
Yeah, and the Vikings are in last place.
Yeah, but we're trying to pass.
I hate how we predicted that might happen, but I really didn't want it to.
I'm looking at it going, well, the Packers are trying to get down to last place.
Yeah, dude, if we can hop the Packers, that'd be nice. And technically, we already beat the Bears once, so I mean,
yeah.
I told you that was gonna be the game. That if we're gonna beat the Bears, it has to be that game because I don't think we're beating them in the second game.
I don't think we're beating them this time. Moving along, Rams at Niners. Rams shellac them 42-26. If the Niners were healthy, this game is closer. But the Niners are not healthy, and yeah, this is the year of the injury for Niners. Sorry, guys.
Wasn't that the last year too?
Wasn't it? Well, that last year it was really only CMC that was badly hurt.
There was a lot of people actually on that defense that went down, and offensive line that went down. If you forget.
Yeah. So here's my question: who is your training staff?
I was gonna say, whoever your training staff or medical staff is, I think you might need to
fix that.
Might need to look into that. Why are you guys getting injured so much?
And then the Sunday night game featured the Steelers at the Chargers. And now last week, because I just watched this before we recorded, you said that you trusted the Steelers more than the Ravens right now. Ravens went out and beat the Vikings. Steelers got shellacked 25-10.
To be fair, I also mentioned if it was the Steelers that were playing with that defense from the previous week,
and that defense did not show up.
I did caveat that, and that defense was back to its old defensive self.
Yeah, it looked like ass.
Yeah, so
the Chargers.
I was hoping that they turned that corner, and they fucking didn't.
The Chargers, missing both of their best tackles, still obliterated the Steelers.
However, I'm still going to argue that I think the Steelers probably still beat the Ravens. The Ravens are still playing like ass. They beat us, but barely. And we're not a good football team right now.
I wouldn't say 27-19 is barely.
It actually is. 27-19, that's an 8-point difference. And it should have been 7-point difference if KOC didn't go for a fucking 2-point conversion for no fucking reason. So, actually, one touchdown is barely. Again, for a team that's supposed to have
Yeah, but they
spanked us,
gave it up. They gave up that last one in garbage time in the fourth quarter. So
doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter though because we also could have had a chance to still win that game. There was actually a real chance of winning that game or tying it at the end. Ravens just fumbled. I'm sorry. I'm going to just tell you the Ravens should have motorboated that, and they didn't. They had Lamar back, and you're telling me that one touchdown lead is sufficient for that team? It shouldn't be.
we'll see. Again, he's starting to get his stride back. We'll have to see. And then, of course, the worst game of the week happened on Monday Night Football, where we didn't have a score for what, almost 4 quarters?
I think it was the third quarter. There
was a field goal, and there was a field goal in the third quarter, and then the 2 touchdowns came in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter. Yep.
That was it.
Yeah.
Eagles win 10-7. It was a boring, crappy dump of a game.
Man, if the Eagles play like that too much, they're definitely not winning the NFC. Like,
No, and again, no sacks for the Packers.
no, Micah Parsons, two games now hasn't really done much. So,
Speaking of Micah Parsons, did you hear the newest wrinkle in the trade that happened between Dallas and Green Bay?
newest one, you'd have to refresh on that.
So apparently, in the contract, in the trade, in the deal for Micah Parsons, is another deal that nests. It's a poison pill. If Green Bay trades Micah Parsons to an NFC East team before a certain point, they have to give their first round pick in 27 or 28, I think,
Yeah.
to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think the odds of that happening are so small, though.
I
So,
agree, but
Yeah.
Parsons did want to go to Philadelphia because he is from around that area, and he wanted to go play with the Eagles.
Yeah, what's more likely to happen is either Green Bay will let the trade contract run out, or they'll cut him, and then he'll be allowed to go.
Or they'll trade him to a different team that will then spin around and trade him to Philadelphia.
I'm gonna be basically a mediator,
Yeah.
kind of like you see in NHL. Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
Yep, and
The
that's
fact that we don't see that more in the NFL is actually shocking to me.
we see it all the time in the NBA and the NHL.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of shocked that we don't even baseball. You see it on occasion.
Yeah,
It's just weird. You don't really see that much in the NFL.
you don't.
So I find that fascinating. That's
Well, and I think part of it is
whatever reason,
because you're not allowed to retain. You can, but like I'm not sure how salary retention works according to the NFL bylaws. Like in the
yeah.
NHL, you can retain so much of the salary. So if you want the salary hit to come down, you can use that middle team.
to take on some of that salary cap. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. They might not allow you to do that. That might be why. That's
Mhm.
true.
But
Maybe they
yeah,
do that on purpose because they don't want that to happen. Maybe. I don't
that
know.
game was boring.
Yeah, we've had a lot of boring games actually this week, unfortunately,
Yeah, we did.
and a lot of scores that were the same.
But we do have some game balls to hand out.
Yes, we do.
We do. I'll start this week. You know what? Travion Henderson, game ball.
That's fair, I guess. Dexter Lawrence, game ball.
JT, game ball.
I mean, that's fair. Tyler Shug, game ball.
On my list. Devon A-Chain, game ball.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't care. I'm still giving one to Jackson Dart because he played his fucking heart on that game and got concussed for it.
I don't disagree with it. That's pretty good. Now, how about some showers?
It's funny because all of my showers are just entire rosters.
Mine are specific people. I've got some.
Normally, I try to do that, but like there were so many bad games for teams. I just went,
All right, go
no.
ahead and give us a start.
So the very first one, the Bills. I don't know what the fuck that was. I think all of you need to collectively get in a shower and figure out what the fuck to do.
For me, I do have a Bills player on here, and it is James Cook.
He did play the worst, yes.
You played absolute dog shit, and honestly, they need you to get at least 70 to 80 yards every game, and you didn't come close. You played like ass.
That defense was trashy, though. That's why I couldn't just pick a single player.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, second, the Packers. What the fuck was that? Jordan Love in specific looked like dog turds, but let's be honest. The only good thing of that team was kind of the defense, but I don't even know if it was the defense as much as it was the Eagles floundering as well.
And speaking of from that game, on the other side of the ball, Saquon Barkley hit the showers. 22 touches and only like 60-something yards. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was bad. It's funny you bring that up, though, because I also threw the Eagles in here because that game in general made me, I think, develop cancer. So both those teams need to take showers. That was for teams that are supposedly supposed to be fighting for the NFC, the Eagles looked like dog turds and the Pack looked like they didn't belong on that field. So I hated it.
And then the last one I'm going to throw in here, just because, Bo Nix. What the fuck, man? What? I don't know.
Bo Nix is the perfect quarterback if you want to barely win football games.
Ah!
He should be a Viking because that's what we usually do.
That is pretty funny. I will give you that. That's pretty good. Inferno?
Sure.
I'll start this one. Matt LaFleur. Welcome to the 7th.
Ooh, I debated putting him on there, but I didn't think about putting him above 5, to be honest.
Oh, I did. I'm done watching you flounder your team through this shit.
Part of it, I think, is their coordinators, but yeah, I understand it. I get it. I actually have some players on my list for the first time in a while, actually. So first, I actually am going to pick a weird one you probably won't agree with, but that's fine. I'm going to put Daniel Jones in here on my second.
Nope.
I put him on here because the last couple of weeks, he's turned over the ball a lot. This week, they did win, but he still fumbled, I think, twice, or was it 3 times, and had an interception. Like, dude, you got a turnover problem you need to fix fast.
And he is starting to turn a little bit back into a pumpkin again.
Yep. So you guys got to really get that under control fast.
Number 2 for me, John Mara, owner of the Giants, firing Dable like that. Look, I get it. 20-40-1, not exactly successful, but look at what he was given by Joe Shane. You get rid of Shane and you keep Dable because both your young superstars, in fact, probably all 3 of them really like Dable. And that guy, that probably your locker room is going to be a little bit problematic now. Unless you bring in a major person that everybody likes, you're probably going to have some turbulence coming up.
Yeah, that's a tough one. On my next one, I have Trevor Lawrence at 5. I'm kind of getting sick of this narrative that you are going to be good if you just get the right coach. After a while, you have to look at it and just call it for what it is. I think Trevor Lawrence is a bust.
I think, here's my opinion on Trevor Lawrence. I think he was a great college quarterback, a great, exceptional college player, but he is a mediocre pro player. And that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not going to say anything bad about
he was
it.
Picked, and that's the thing. For where he was picked,
number 1 overall, yeah, you're a bust. And I'm going to put you with that label now. And in my top secret, ultra sanctioned 11th circle, the refs. Fuck all of you.
Yeah, I thought about doing that too, but I didn't want to do that this time. Um, Only because everyone knows my feeling on the refs, I think, at this point. So at 10, I have the Giants front office. I'm just done with you guys. You guys can't make a good decision to save your fucking lives. And the fact that your GM is still there and you didn't fire him alongside Abel if you were really going to do a whole clear the whole thing and redo it, makes me worried that that the GM's going to be there next year. I have a feeling they're not going to fire him. I think he's got blackmail on the fucking owner at this point. Like the fact he's still there is absurd, absolutely absurd.
Yeah, yeah.
Should have fired him when he traded Saquon to the fucking Eagles. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. You kept him in division. If you'd have traded him out to like the Patriots, nobody gives a shit.
I mean, people would have still been annoyed, but yeah,
Yeah,
it would have
well, I
been
mean,
less
yeah, because
annoying
the
than being
Patriots.
in
But
the same division. You
I
know?
mean, trade him to the Jets, trade him to Miami, trade him to Denver.
Yeah,
People would have been annoyed, but you get him out of your division.
yeah. No, you trade him not even that
I
far
don't even think
away
they
from where you guys
traded
are.
him. I think it was that he went and signed with the Eagles.
Oh, wasn't it like they allowed they allowed the contract to lapse, which then allowed him to walk to
Yes.
the Eagles or something like that? Yeah,
Yeah, because they
which
didn't
is still a
re-sign him.
fucking big mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you were really not going to re-sign him, you should have probably, I don't know, traded him the previous year maybe.
Yeah. But they had thought they were going to re-sign him, but he was asking for a lot more money than what they wanted to give him. Because remember, that was around the time they were talking about
Yeah.
running backs aren't important and shouldn't be getting paid. And you had the whole Brandon
No,
Jacobs thing, and that's why he wound up in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going, oh,
Yeah.
running backs are important.
Yeah. Oh, look, they can still earn us a shit ton of points. JT.
All right. Potatoes?
Sure.
I'm gonna give you a weird one right off the. I'm gonna give you a weird one right off the button here.
All right.
Maybe the 2024 NFL QB class will go down as one of the greatest of all time.
2024?
Williams.
So...
Williams.
No, I was gonna
Daniels,
say no. I was gonna say Williams and
Daniels.
Jane Daniels.
May.
We got Drake May.
Bo
Michael
Nix. Michael Penix. And even J.J. McCarthy.
That's gonna be a smidge depending on how that goes. But then you also even have, I think Tyler Shug was taken.
No, that was last year.
No, that was last year. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anybody else in the second or third rounders that were playing, but I don't think so.
Hold on.
I don't think any of them are playing at all, actually. Because you had to have Quinn Ewers, right? I think that was, or was that last year? Was Quinn
That was last year, I think.
Yeah. Who was the
Rattler?
one
Rattler went out.
Rattler. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't think there was too many others, really, right? Mostly just the first rounders.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say the best, because there's a lot of other good quarterback years where you can't just completely ignore.
No, but that's like I said, one of.
But I think it's still very early to call, especially with Michael Penix being wishy-washy, JJ still being does he have injury concerns where he just can't do the NFL? Bo Nix is still yeah, he's barely winning football games, but is that eventually going to crash? Now for the rest of the guys, I mean, you do have Drake May, who does seem to be the guy for the Patriots right now. Jaden Daniels, as long as he doesn't have injury concerns, I think longevity-wise will probably be good. Caleb Williams, I think, was personally overhyped, but he is playing well for the Bears, but I wouldn't call him a mega superstar like they thought he was going to be, right? So that's where my feelings are currently, and that's why I don't want to call it even one of the best, because we have players that were overhyped who were And even Jaden Daniels, like, let's be honest, like his first the first half of this year before the injury was kind of mediocre for him comparatively to last year. So I think there's still too much to see there. They have the potential, definitely, but at the moment, there's still a lot of ifs for me. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't want to say quite yet one of the best. I want to see. I mean, you give them another year or two, probably 2 years. You can give them the full 4 years in the league, and then we'll see where they're at.
All right. Fair enough.
See if they even stay with the teams they're on. You know, because I think that's also kind of telling about that is do the teams want to retain them?
There you go.
All right, for my first one, and it's something that I've mentioned before, but it's just kind of an exemplifies kind of my point. Maybe just maybe, Trevor Lawrence needs a change of location for him to maybe succeed.
No, I'll eat that. I think there's too much baggage now in Jacksonville for him.
Yeah, it just feels like they've tried and tried and tried. I mean, like at a certain point, we have to look at it for what it is and go. More and more QBs are having more success on their second teams than their starting teams. Maybe he just needs a move.
I can't help but wonder if going to like the Rams and sitting behind Stafford wouldn't help.
The Rams, I don't think would be a bad option. I think
The Niners.
Weirdly enough, the Colts, if Daniel Jones continues to pumpkin out, wouldn't be a bad option. The Niners, maybe. But you wouldn't want to take him to like a bad team. Like you wouldn't want to take him to the Raiders because you're just going from a mediocre to another mediocre. Right?
Yeah, the Vikings also. If he like
Vikings potentially, if they are willing for a backup and let him sit for a little bit. Yeah, Packers technically, you could even say.
Yep.
As much as I hate to say it, but it could be an option there.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of teams that I can think of. I mean, heck, Cardinals, if you really want to go that way.
Yeah.
I think they have a better team right now, personally.
I agree.
So, I that's why I'm saying it. I just think that if we aren't going to label him as a bust, I think he already is. But if he wants to save his potential career long term, I think a change of location becomes necessary.
I agree.
Fair enough.
Maybe the football teams in New York are just fucking cursed.
If we would just say in the Jets, maybe, but the Giants have had has had actually pretty good success throughout their entire franchise history. If we're going to be honest with us, I don't think the Giants are cursed. I think the Giants have had an unfortunate bad spell for most of the last 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
But I think they're coming out of it. Honestly, I think Jackson Dart's big. I think Malik Neighbors is huge. I think Cam Scatterboo is great. I think if ownership can stop stopping on their own dicks and then actually fire their GM who's fucking terrible, I think it solves a lot of their issues, actually. I don't think the Giants themselves are cursed. The Jets, yeah, no, I think the Jets are cursed because every QB they get is fucking terrible in the draft until they trade them to somewhere else, and then all of a sudden they become superstars. And I would be like, what the fuck is this?
I'm just waiting for it to happen to Zach Wilson now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Isn't he backup for Bo Nix right now? I think he is, right?
No, he's a backup. No, he's a backup in Miami.
Is it Miami? I thought that was Quinn Ewers.
Nope, Ewers and Wilson are both there.
Oh, okay. So I just think that's hilarious. We'll see, but it could definitely happen. You never know. All right. But yeah, so Jets cursed. I don't think the Giants are though.
Okay.
For my next one, maybe, just maybe, Tyler Shugg is the Saints starting quarterback for the foreseeable future.
I'm not going to eat that one just yet because I want to see a few more games from him, and I want to see where they end up in the draft. Because if they end up in a position to draft one of these quarterbacks, that might be hard to bypass.
Maybe. I guess we'll see how Tyler plays. I just see a lot of Drew Brees in the way that he plays. As weird as that sounds,
No,
he's not super mobile, but he's really good at escaping the pocket and finding that guy deep down the field. You
I
know?
like how he plays. I just want to see a little more before I anoint him the guy.
Fair enough.
And my final one, maybe the Bears are gonna make a playoff run.
I mean, there's a pretty good chance with the way they're playing. I definitely don't doubt it. I don't know if they'll make a huge playoff run, but I mean, if we're talking making playoffs as part of the run, I mean, yeah, they're making playoffs. Um, as far as like getting to the championship game, that's gonna be pretty hard with the teams that are in the NFC right now. Specifically like Rams and Seahawks. But it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I don't think they're making Super Bowl, but I think definitely like championship is definitely possible. Um, maybe, just maybe, the Bears will win the North. Speaking of,
I'll take that. Like I said, I think they're gonna make a playoff run.
yeah, I just
And
went a step further and
yeah,
just said that they're going to beat out the Lions for the North. So that's the only
yeah.
difference, really. And that's why I'm like, yeah, if I think that they're going to win the North, then yeah, I think a playoff run is possible in that case. So
I agree. It'd be hard for me to disagree. All right, power rankings.
sure.
You can start.
At 10, I have a team that was off my list that's back on my list because they can't just because everyone else around 10 just can't figure out how to stay on my list. So we we have the Chargers. They won a game that I did not expect them to win, actually, despite having both their tackles down. But like, they made it look easy. So we'll see if they can continue doing that.
I agree. That's why I also have the Chargers at 10.
At number 9, talking about a team that has fallen from grace, the fucking Buffalo Bills at number 9. That
Get
game
out of
was
my
fucking
head!
atrocious. The game was atrocious. You deserve to be at 9, sir.
I agree, which is why I also have the Bills at 9.
At number 8, I have the Buccaneers. They lost. It was a close game, but I expected a better Bucks team than what I ultimately showed up. I actually thought the Bucks could actually beat the Patriots, and I think they really had opportunities to do so. And I think they left some play on the field, to be honest.
At number 8, I have the Broncos. I'm just look.
Whoa,
They're winning
whoa!
games. There's a reason
so
for this.
Wrong. It's not even funny. Holy shit!
They're winning games, but it's entirely too close for me. And
That don't matter. Win, bro.
I'm waiting for that to just not work anymore and for them to collapse. If they don't,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to move them up. But I keep waiting for it.
Do you keep forgetting though? Like, if we're gonna go that way, last year the Vikings did that, and then you kept them high on the list because they kept winning, and you kept arguing wins are wins, and now you're doing the opposite for the Broncos.
I don't
feel
remember.
like your bias is showing, dude.
I don't remember last year.
Last year was Sam Darnold. Remember?
I don't remember last year.
Look back at your notes, bud.
I don't remember last. I don't keep my notes past a week.
Oh my god, you did the. We are. I. They're playing in the exact same way as the Vikings did last year. I'll buy it. I would argue the Vikings scored more points, but that's not the point. They did the same thing where they were barely winning games, and we had them high on the list because win's a win. And we all both.
I don't remember last year.
Now you're doing the opposite. Now you're doing the opposite.
I don't remember
Man,
last year.
Disgusting. You were doing the Broncos dirty, and it's very clear your bias is showing, sir. Your bias is showing. Yeah, does that mean the Broncos might eventually go to the playoffs like we did last year and just tank in the playoffs? Yeah, absolutely. But in the regular season, that don't fucking matter. All right. Let's go to 7. 7, I have the Eagles. That game was atrocious, and I'm very disappointed in you guys. So you're at 7.
I have the Bucks at 7, pretty much for the same reasons you have them at 8.
Fair enough. At 6, I have the Lions because honestly, there was a bunch of other teams that I thought were better, and the Lions are in this kind of weird, wishy-washy realm for me right now.
Okay, that's weird. At 6, I have the Eagles for the same reasons you have them at 7.
No, this will make plenty of sense because I think all the rest of these teams are actually better than the Lions right now. The Lions can beat up on worser opponents, but when it comes to playing teams that are actually good, or even can contest them at all, they tend to have harder problems. So 5 is the Rams. The Rams, I think, absolutely would beat the Lions, no question, right now. The Rams are a
I
really good team. The only reason they're not pushed up higher is because I want to see them battle. Well, frankly, the next person on my list to see.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to be equal here. I also have the Rams at 5. I think they're a really good football team, and I'm waiting to see them battle the next team on my list.
4 Seahawks. Yeah,
Yep.
Seahawks are just a really good football team. I want to see what these two go against each other to really see if they push up further. But I think both of those teams are better than the Lions right now. So I think so far
I disagree with them being better than the Lions, but I agree they're both really good teams
I think both of them would win.
because
right
I
now
also have the
against Lions.
Seahawks at 4.
Don't forget the Lions did lose to us. So I do vehemently believe that the Seahawks and Rams would both smack the Lions right now if they were.
Hey, what did you say about JT? Everybody's allowed to have an off day?
You're gonna give them 3 weeks of off days because all 3 of those games that they lost, they should not have lost. At number 3, the Broncos. I don't give a shit. They're winning football games. It doesn't matter how they're winning football games as long as they're winning football games. They deserve 3rd.
At number 3, I have the Lions because I still believe. I still believe.
Nope. They're a good football team, but they're not a great football team. Not right now. Not the way they're playing the last couple of weeks. We'll see if they end the season better. But midway through the season, I'm disappointed with how they played. At 2, we're gonna pretty much probably repeat, I'm sure here. 2, I have the Colts. They're a good football team. They're starting to show cracks though.
Yep,
so
and that's why I bumped them down from 1 to 2. And I'm sure both of us have the same first overall team.
The evil empire has returned.
They have returned. The Patriots have returned with a vengeance. Drake May is a beast. I think Travion Henderson is better than Ramondre Stevenson, but I get the idea of wanting to run the dual back system. Stevenson is a little bit more of a power runner. Henderson is a little bit more of an outside runner. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea.
Yep, it really comes down to which defense they're playing as to who's probably going to get some more touches at that point.
I 100% agree. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Pats look really good, and I am concerned.
Mike, Vrabel getting the Patriots, turning them around in 1 year, and taking them to playoffs. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the Titans shouldn't have fired Vrabel. This is case in point.
This is it right here. All righty, next week, week 11, Jets at Pats tonight. Do we even need to?
I mean, you never know with the Jets, but I don't think they're going to beat the Patriots.
Bears at Vikings.
Realistically, it's probably the Bears, but I'm still picking the Vikings because I have to hope.
I have lost my hope, therefore I am picking the Bears.
I still have to have hope. Because frankly, if you look at the end of our season, you look at the teams we play, if we can win, I think it's 4 out of the 6, there is a chance at making playoffs. But we really would have to beat the Bears here. If we lose it, then we'd have to win out pretty much the rest of the games. So I'm just holding on a hope.
Commanders at Dolphins.
I guess it depends on which teams show up. I'm going to lean Commanders because I think even despite the fact they don't have Jaden, they're still more consistent. The Dolphins, that was a really good game, but can we really trust that they can continue to do that?
Against the Commanders, I think they can, so I'm picking the Dolphins.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Bengals at Steelers.
There is talks about Joe Burrow being back. I don't think he'll be back for this game, to be honest with you. I think there's a better chance he'll be back within the next week or two. So I'm going to say Steelers have a better chance at winning that game, unless Joe Burrow legitimately is back, and then they probably will win. But I'm leaning Steelers.
You know what? I'll take the Bengals.
It's a weird choice knowing their defense.
It is, but also knowing how the Steelers have played recently.
Depends on what team shows up, man.
Again,
maybe the Bengals, maybe the Steelers defense just looks really good against that terrible. That will
Chargers
have
at
issues.
Jags.
The Chargers. The Jags are too all over the place right now
I
for me.
agree. They started good and everything was going fine, and then they just up and down and up and down and up and down, and I just don't know what to think of them anymore. Bucks at Bills.
Bucks at Bills. The Bills have to have a bounce back game bad, but against the Bucks, that's gonna be tough. But again, you're playing at Bills, so that's gonna be an advantage for the Bills for sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna lean Bills because if they're playing at home and they need that bounce back game, otherwise
I
there's gonna
agree.
be talks probably of
I agree with you. Yeah. Texans and C.J. Stroud has officially been ruled out. At Titans.
I think despite that, I think the Texans win.
I
General
agree.
Mills, boy.
I agree.
Long neck General Mills.
Panthers at Falcons. The last time they met, the Panthers blanked them.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen this time, but at the same time, I don't know what Falcons team is going to show up, so fuck it, Panthers.
You know what? I don't know what Falcons team is going to show up, but I'll take them because I like to spin that dial.
Good luck, sir.
Packers at Giants.
I think this is a Packers win. I know the Packers played terrible, but like the Giants losing pretty much all of their key offensive players.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty tough to win that
That's
game.
going to be pretty tough to win that
They'll have
game.
to win
I
it
agree.
off of their defense, otherwise I just don't think they will.
Yeah. Seahawks at Rams.
This is a tough game, not because it's bad, but because both teams are just powerhouses right now. So
Exactly.
I'm going to lean on the Rams. I think the Rams have a better overall. Like I think for example, I think the defense of the Rams is probably a little bit better than the Seahawks, though fairly equal. And I think the offense, they just have a little bit more cooking on the offense, but again, we're talking very small amounts. Like I just think it's like just slightly more Rams, despite the fact that I have the Seahawks above the Rams on my list. I just think the Rams might be just a little bit better. Again, that veteran presence and everything, I think that might make a difference.
I will take the Seahawks.
They are a younger team, so I'm going for the vets while you're going with the younger guys.
49ers at Cards.
I think this is actually going to be a pretty even matchup, surprisingly enough.
Of only because the Niners are banged up.
But I think if CMC is playing, I think that's going to be hard for the Cardinals defense to stop. So I'm going to lean 49ers, but there is a real chance Cardinals win that game.
I will take the Cardinals and just see if they can pull that out.
Yeah.
Ravens at Browns.
I mean,
yeah.
As much as it would be funny to see the Browns win that game, let's be honest.
That's not happening. Chiefs at Broncos.
I don't care. I'm doing it. The Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs.
I'm going to take it too, because they're at Mile High. And the Chiefs haven't been playing great. And the Broncos, again, they're the epitome of playing to the level of your opponent. They're going to play the Chiefs, which means they're going to play really well.
Probably. It'll be a close game, though.
Lions at Eagles.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest. I think the last game that the Eagles played was kind of a one-off because that is probably the worst performance they've had all year. And while they haven't looked as good as last year, I think they're still a very competent football team. I think, as much as I don't want to say either, I don't mind the Lions really. I think the Lions probably can win that game, but realistically speaking, I think the Eagles have a better chance at winning that game. And so I'm going to lean the Eagles.
I lean Lions. And then the final one, Cowboys at Raiders.
Boy, that's going to be a bad game.
or it's going to be a blowout one way or the other.
Let's be honest, it's probably the Cowboys, but they've been all over the map as far as losing to teams they really shouldn't lose to.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning Cowboys, but man, it's going to be not as close. It's going to be closer than it should be.
I agree with you that it's going to be the Cowboys, but goddamn, that game is going to be weird.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we are finished, I'm going to go through the NHL Power Rankings.
Give me.
At number 10, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins with 21 points. It looks like age might be finally catching up to them. They did start pretty hot, though. At number 9, we have the Utah Mammoth. They've dropped a bit. They have 20 points, but they are starting to show some cracks. Number 8, the Winnipeg Jets with 20 points. Again, they were first last week, but they have fallen off hard. At number 7, the Carolina Hurricanes with 22 points. They're still hanging in there right around where they were last week. Number 6, the Montreal Canadiens for 22 points. They also are hanging around, which is a lot more than I thought they were going to do. Number 5, welcome to the board this season, the Boston Bruins, who have 22 points and have currently won 8 in a row, which is why they jumped from not being on the board to number 5. Number 4, the Dallas Stars with 23 points. They're playing good hockey. It's Dallas. I don't expect anything less. New Jersey Devils are number 3. They have 25 points. They're also playing really well, and they've been hanging around the top 3 on this board pretty much all season. Number 2, the Anaheim Ducks with 23 points and a 5-game winning streak. Yeah, they're playing well. And number 1, the Colorado Avalanche with 27 points. Yeah, that's really, really hard to not say is the first and best team in hockey right now. For anybody who has a question about that, no, you don't. It's yeah. They are a good hockey team this year, and it hurts me to say that because I hate Colorado. Not the state, just the team.
Fair.
You got anything else?
No.
Travis Hunter is on the IR now, and he is done for the season as he is having surgery.
Yes.
That's the last thing I need to say about that. Outside of that, for the rest of you, we'll see you back here. Same bearded channel, same bearded place, whatever bearded time I get this posted. Next week, we will be back. We'll talk about Week 11, and we'll see how all of it goes. We hope that whatever you put in your mind to, you will accomplish. We believe in you. If you like the work we do here, or even if you just want to see more of our stupid faces, get us a like, get us a subscribe, help the channel grow. That's what we're going to ask. Outside of that, hey everybody, thanks for being here. Stay bearded.